Have you ever asked yourself, what is a gaming generation? Telling it's the time frame each console generation stays on the market is an oversimplification. The gaming consoles brands only release new gaming consoles when the current one they have in the market can no longer execute most of the advanced technologies used by the game developers. Because of course this would mean they would be losing their customers and well, the only thing that really matters to most of the companies we know nowadays, their customer satisfaction and fidelity. Is this correct, the last part? Are you sure? Where was I? Oh. The only thing that really matters to most of the companies we know nowadays, the amount of money they can take from us. Hi, I'm Lucas Highland and today we're gonna talk about how the future of the video game industry is not what you expect. When we talk about the evolution of gaming, most people think that it has something to do with the realism in graphics, the loading speeds, the size of the worlds, and the innovations in hardwares like immersive controllers, VR, and so on. And if you think like this, you are probably correct. But nowadays, this is a very shallow comprehension about the future of the gaming industry because this is what has been happening for the past 30 plus years. And this cycle that I just described is very close to reaching its limit, and it will end soon, so what's next? If we look to the past and compare the 3D rendering realism from TV shows and movies, it is safe to say that real-time rendering in games are roughly 15 to 20 years behind. If we look at the games with the most realistic graphics nowadays, for example Horizon Forbidden West, we can say the lighting, texturing and other technical boring stuff are compared to a 2004 computer-generated imagery movie like The Polar Express and The Incredibles, for example. If this logic continues to evolve in the same proportions by 2030, we will have games as realistic as Toy Story 3 and possibly even Avatar, the first one of course. This means that in the next 7 to let's say 15 years, completely realistic graphics in games will be as common as people pretending they don't pick their noses when no one is seeing. At every gaming generation, the gap in terms of realism between generations gets smaller and smaller. After a few years of this high level of realism, probably people will see this as the new standard and it will stop to be a selling point. And those people who only buy the new generation of console and upgrade their PCs because of graphics will feel frustrated and lost. They possibly will even realize that this whole time what made a good game was the gameplay itself. So the gameplay, the stories, the overall fun we have playing will be the new standard. But we can already do that with the technology we have today. So will the hardware companies that nowadays keep bringing new technologies to get more realistic graphics and more reality accurate game will simply stop evolving? Yeah, they will simply stop trying to empty our wallets. Yeah, believe me, they will need to go after new innovations. We normally see rough technology from today being implemented in games after a few years of development. When they start to be a little more optimized to be applied in real time, like the RTX for example that 20 years ago, it took 15 hours to render a single frame with the accuracy that we can render 30 of them in a second today. And what is considered to be a groundbreaking technology nowadays is artificial intelligence. We already have artificial intelligence, or AI for short, in most if not all the games we play nowadays. But normally artificial intelligence is extremely CPU demanding for more complex applications. There are some AI that are more demanding on the GPU, but the real deal today is dealing with the CPU limitations. Nowadays we see pathfinding AI in most of the games, and very simple dialogue AI being implemented in games like The Witcher 3 and Mass Effect for example, among many other AI technologies that are not so obvious to notice as the ones I just mentioned. But the pathfinding evolved very slowly and it's hard to understand the real impact it has on games. And the current dialogue AI makes the game experience just a little different, and it has just a small taste of what can be a unique playability, making the experience each player has with each game unique. Today, we have somewhat revolutionary AI projects like ChatGPT that shows the future holds much greater things for the gaming industry in terms of AI. Imagine chatting to an NPC in a game almost like you you are able to chat with a real person. Although we are not at a realistic conversation level yet, well, in 2006 this was considered realistic graphics in games, and it was freaking awesome. Awesome for that time, of course. Why can't we begin with what we have and build from there? Well, we can and probably will. I don't believe we will only see this advanced chat AI in a game when it's completely realistic. We will start with some bad stuff that makes sense at a usable level in a game, and then we will evolve from there. So what did I do to get a more accurate prediction? I literally talked to ChatGPT, which is probably the most advanced chat AI at the public level yet, about it to understand a little better about AI development, and it gave me no clear answers. Only that advanced conversations like the ones we are able to currently have with ChatGPT are extremely resource demanding. So probably it would consume too much hardware power to make realistic, non-scripted interactions with NPCs. Not to say that it would be extremely difficult for the game developers to implement this correctly in a way that don't mess up the gameplay. But one day, 5 years in the past, it wasn't possible to render real-time RTX in a game. And now we are basically in the third generation of RTX consumer-level graphics cards. So it may be closer than most people expect. Also considering that OpenAI, the developer of ChatGPT, started in 2015, it means that the development of ChatGPT to the current state took around 8 years. Or less probably. With these numbers in mind, I think it's safe to predict that the evolutions we've been talking about since the beginning of this video are probably gonna happen before 2035. In the next 12 years, advanced AI-based games will be the next step in the evolution of video games, in a time where graphic realism will no longer matter. But what does this evolution mean in the actual game? Well, welcome to the best part of this video, my futuristic brain farts. If you are enjoying this video so far, give this video a thumbs up. And today is my birthday. Well, not today, for me from the past is tomorrow, but tomorrow the video is going up. And when you are going to see this, probably is in my birthday or a few days after, so you owe me a present. So a thumbs up is the best present you can give me. Thank you. The most various game styles will benefit from advanced AI. Arcade and competitive games will be able to replicate more accurate human-like playability, so you will be able to practice with better results for competitions. But this is boring, niche, and obvious too. Sandbox games like Minecraft, for example, is one of the game genres that will see the most benefits out of it. Imagine Minecraft with real exploration that almost never repeat itself inside of the game rules. New animal species being created by the game itself, and that has a chance of never again any other player seeing the same animal in their worlds. The same thing applies to structures, to cities, treasures, and so on. Animals and NPCs replying to sounds, like calling them by their names with your microphone, or your pet dogs coming to you when you whistle or call them by their names. Spellcasting games that require you to say the magic words so the spell is casted, because the game will be able to understand what you are saying. You have a Minecraft villager, for example, and you need to literally negotiate for better prices with them. NPCs will be a part of your world and will build with you almost like an extra player in your world. Cool example is I have this part of my world in Minecraft that I simply created an item sorter or storage system, automatic storage system, and I have two exclusive buildings, one for the rocks and another one for the woods. Could be helpful if they could understand what we are asking, and if we need a specific rock that's inside of a chest, they go get this for us. But if we don't have the item in the chests, they simply say we don't have this right now, you have to get it yourself, or other stuff like this. It would be very cool to see these kinds of advanced AI things implemented in Minecraft and other games. This can go even further and create entire story games that adapt to your decisions and performance, just like Quantic Dream games like Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human, for example. But instead of 30 to 70 scripted ends and hundreds of paths to get there, you have infinite possibilities because they're all real-time calculated and shaped according to what you do. This can go even to an absurd level of creating entire worlds where you can explore with your real friends and discover new AI-created cultures, cities, NPCs, secrets in a world, like secret dungeons, quests, treasures, just like I mentioned before that could happen inside of Minecraft, but even more advanced. You have a unique experience that no one ever talked about, that no one ever heard about before. Exploring in games like Minecraft would be infinitely better. Nowadays we visit all dimensions and biomes once, and the next time we visit them there's not much interest about it because they are basically a different shape of the same thing. With AI worlds, every city can be unique and worth exploring, even inside of the same biome, dimensions and structures that seem familiar. The possibilities are infinite. What game developers will be able to create with advanced AIs is what's going to impact the most the gaming industry, even creating entire new genres, and create unique and exciting experience that is beyond what we can imagine knowing what we know nowadays. If you think this is far away from happening, well, I have to tell you that the first step of the process that will take us to this outcome is already happening. And if you want to find out how, you can watch this other video where I tell you how the Unreal Engine 5 is the first step to this new amazing future of the gaming industry. I'm Lucas Highland. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me.